Give joyfully and extravagantly back to God, knowing that everything you have is already His. Today we are walking through chapter 29, but our focus is still the prayer of Jabez from chapter 4, and we're using it as a key to unlock the rest of this incredible book. It's more than just a list of names, it's a story of God's faithfulness, our spiritual identity, and the power we have when we ask God to bless us indeed and enlarge our coast. If you would like to share this complete comprehensive study with your community, comment study, and I will send you my full First Chronicles study, Jabez's prayer transcript link for free. All right, go ahead and check out chapter 29. Enjoy.
Week 4, A Heart of Worship and Giving, Chapter 29, The Joy of Giving. This chapter is the grand finale of David's life and the climax of our theme. Having given the plan and the charge to Solomon, David now leads the people in one of the greatest acts of generosity recorded in the Bible. It is a moment of pure, joyful, and extravagant giving, followed by David's final, beautiful prayer of praise to God. A breakdown of the chapter. 1. David's personal gift and challenge, verses 1 to 5. David addresses the assembly one last time. He reminds them of the great task ahead and of Solomon's youth. Then, he leads by example, detailing the massive personal fortune of gold, silver, and precious stones that he has set aside over and above what he had already gathered for the temple. He then turns to the people and asks the powerful question, "And who then is willing to consecrate his service this day unto the Lord?" 2. The people's joyful response, verses 6 to 9. The response is overwhelming. The leaders of Israel, commanders and officials come forward and give extravagantly of their own treasures. The text says the people rejoiced, for that they offered willingly, because with perfect heart they offered willingly to the Lord, and David the king also rejoiced with great joy. Their giving wasn't a reluctant duty, it was a source of immense, shared joy. 3. David's prayer of praise, verses 10 to 19. This is David's last recorded prayer, and it is a masterpiece of worship. He blesses the Lord in front of everyone. He praises God's greatness, power, glory, and majesty. He humbly acknowledges that everything belongs to God. But who am I, and what is my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly after this sort? For all things come of thee, and of thine own have we given thee. He recognizes that we are temporary sojourners on the earth. He asks God to keep the people's hearts devoted to him, and to give Solomon a perfect heart, to be obedient and build the temple. 4. The conclusion of a reign, verses 20 to 30. After the prayer, all the people worship God. They offer massive sacrifices, and they officially make Solomon king for a second time, anointing him before the Lord. The chapter, and the story of David's reign, concludes with a summary. David died in a good old age, full of days, riches, and honor, and Solomon his son reigned in his stead. Connecting to our theme, a heart of worship and giving, this chapter is the ultimate expression of a heart of worship and giving. 1. Giving is led by example. David didn't ask the people to do something he wasn't willing to do himself. His own extravagant generosity inspired theirs. 2. Willing giving produces joy. The defining emotion of this chapter is joy. The people weren't sad to part with their wealth. They were joyful to consecrate it to God's purpose. 3. Everything belongs to God. The core of David's prayer is the ultimate truth of stewardship. We aren't giving God our stuff. We are simply giving back to him a portion of what is already his. This mindset transforms giving from a loss into an act of worship. This is a beautiful parallel to the prayer of Jabez that started our study. Jabez prayed for blessing and an enlarged coast. Here, at the end of his life, David shows us what to do with that blessing. Give it back joyfully for a legacy that will outlast you. Reflection. Questions for your group. 1. David's challenge. Who is willing? Prompted an immediate response. When has a leader's example of generosity inspired you to be more generous yourself? 2. The people gave with a perfect heart and rejoiced with great joy. What is the connection between our heart's attitude and the joy we experience in giving? 3. David's prayer, "Of thine own have we given thee," is a powerful statement. How does remembering that everything belongs to God change your perspective on tithing and giving? 4. Looking back on the entire study of 1 Chronicles, what is the biggest lesson you have learned? Key takeaway for chapter 29. The ultimate act of a life blessed by God is to give back to him extravagantly and joyfully, recognizing that all we have is already his.